if y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work. Y'all forget I am the leader.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Term is 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Okay, next.
A bullshit. A bullshit.
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long. I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't.
Bulls, I swear, I think it's fair that. You know why? They don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along. You know why? Because we be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we ain't gonna shut shit down.
Yes, yes, yes. You already know what we will do. We will shut shit down. Blessings, blessings. We keeping an eye on DeMarcus and his motherfucking houses and his Airbnbs, because we do believe that there's a housing scam going on out there in Dolton. All right. Going to see it all as intimidating. Going to see it all. Who? Give me a little bit more information behind that. Let me see something, y'all. I got a second wind of energy. Let me see if I can find something. This probably have nothing to do. It does have something to do with our topic. Let me look for this real quick. This is something that I've been keeping on the low. And I want to see, maybe can I pull it up so y'all can watch a little bit of it, since we talked about DeMarcus and we talked about the housing scam. I have got a lot of information as far as making sure that I keep a record of things that's on the internet, because you know people get strong armed to take their stuff down. People take it down because they're not strong in a position, or they just do whatever. And I know people got my videos like, yeah, this one Grayson done told off people. But I do have a video that highlights a little bit about what may be going on in Dalton as far as gentrification. Give me a second. I'm just letting my computer catch up with me. And I'm going to see, can I play a little bit of the video? I'm looking for it. Ooh, I got thousands. I got hundreds of videos. And I had this content creator talking about me like, yeah, you got 700 videos and you got this amount of views. I got the whole history of Dalton right here. Baby, I got facts on top of facts. And I love it. We can make a documentary off of all of this stuff. Give me a second because I'm trying to find the video. Let me see if I can type it in. I'm going to find it. Ooh. We've been here for a couple hours. Y'all got some patience. Y'all been here with me. Hit the like button. I'm looking for the video that I have from the individual investor. Yep. The videos that he took down. And I know I have it. Residents of Dolton Township. I'm trying to... it ain't me on there. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. I want to watch a little bit of it because I haven't seen it in a while, and I know that it's something that they've been trying to hide from the residents a little bit. There go one. This is Can Dalton Be Saved Part 2 from the Debt Spiral. This is the individual investor.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. So, like I said in the last video, in part 2, we were going to talk about what Dalton can do to change course and start turning things around.
All right. So we're going to get off on this note because the individual investor, this was one of his videos that was taken down. Just to keep y'all entertained for another hour, and I'm going to get off of here. This was a video that he did about what Dalton can do to basically get themselves out of the debt spiral. Now that we got Wiedemann in there and Thornton, and we got shit going on in Thornton and Dolton, and all y'all connected, I think this is a good playback. Shout out to the individual investor. Shout out to the people who intimidated him to take his stuff down. I know who you are, and I'm not afraid of you. And I will play his videos. I will try not to play the things that you hated, that you thought was against you. But I will play what I feel is relevant. I got the juice, y'all.
But before we do...
I'm unbiased, and I ain't afraid. So, it is what it is. Y'all know I'm going to hit y'all with a little bit. But this one is a good one. This is not the messy one. So let's play this.
To understand how severe the situation is, so we need to understand how big the debt is. So we all know that Tiffany has brought Dalton into at least $7 million in debt. But that's not close to all the debt the village currently has.
Also, hold up. I want to add this.
Which is something I've talked about.
I think this will get us ready for the Lori Lightfoot report. So this is actually a good segue. How about that? Lori Lightfoot report is coming up on 1/27, 6 days from now. So why not play this? This is great. This is a great segue. Let's watch this, okay? And get ourselves prepared. And I will be doing a deep dive on Thursday. Yes, on Thursday. And we're going to be getting into the numbers, or we're going to be getting into a court case. Let's get it. Hit the like button. We got the juice over here. That's why they trying to keep us in the corner.
I'm assuming the last 2 years of payments have been made, but in their December of 2023 disclosure, they only have payments present until 2022. Anyways, if they made the last 2 years of payments, they would have around $8.7 million worth of bond debt. Next, they have $12 million in water debt.
Now, we're going to start again because I want y'all to listen because he talks about the bond debt. I was talking. I want y'all to listen because that's the next thing we're going to be getting into. The bond debt, the levies, and things like that. We talked about what a government bond was to get a government official bonded, but we're talking about the bond debt that they use to secure money for the township. Okay?
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. So, like I said in the last video, in part 2, we were going to talk about what Dalton can do to change course and start turning things around. But before we do, we need to understand how severe the situation is. So we need to understand how big the debt is. So we all know that Tiffany has brought Dalton into at least $7 million in debt. But that's not close to all the debt the village currently has. Next, we have the bond debt, which is something I've talked about in the past. I'm assuming the last 2 years of payments have been made, but in their December of 2023 disclosure, they only have payments present until 2022. Anyways, if they made the last 2 years of payments, they would have around $8.7 million worth of bond debt currently. Next, they have $12 million in water debt. This debt got accrued because they had to make a choice, either pay the employees or pay your water bill. And this is costing the village a little bit over $1 million a year until this water bill debt is paid off. Now, it's my understanding they haven't made a single payment on this water bill debt yet. I say that because Dalton lost a lawsuit where there was a $33.5 million verdict, and this verdict is currently on appeal. In the lawsuit they filed to try to get the village to pay, they note the village of Dalton, under Henyard, has refused to pay other judgments, including money owed to the city of Chicago for the village water since at least 2018. So if this is true, they still owe the whole entire $12 million because that judgment was put in place in 2018. So now back to the $33.5 million lawsuit that's currently on appeal. In August of 2022, a Cook County jury ordered the village of Dalton to pay the families $33.5 million. That verdict has been appealed. However, the families of Kyle and Dunlop say the enforcement of the verdict has not been put on hold by the court pending appeal, as the village never filed a motion with the court to stay the verdict while the appeal plays out. The petition notes that under Illinois law, that verdict continues to grow larger as interest is tacked on. The complaint estimates the payout increase by 6% annually, or more than $2 million each year it remains unpaid. So since this verdict has been handed out, the village has incurred more than $3 million in interest on this $33.5 million debt. So right now it's very close to $37 million. The original case took like 5 years to get this verdict. So if the appeal takes that long and Dalton loses, they're going to rack up another 10 plus million in interest before they probably ever even make a payment. So one of the things they're trying to do with this lawsuit, because the attorneys believe that Dalton's broke, 100% insolvent, and will never be able to afford to pay. Yes, Dalton has insurance, but it's only up to $10.5 million. So since the attorneys believe the village is technically insolvent, they're trying to get the court to force the village to either raise taxes on the residents or issue new bond debt to cover the verdict from this lawsuit. Now, the reason I believe this verdict was so high, court filings also stated Dalton has one of the highest, if not the very highest rates of police chases in Illinois. In the 5 years prior to this chase, Dalton had been involved in approximately 50 police chases. About half resulted in crashes involving personal injury, death, or property damage. So I believe the verdict was so high because the Dalton Police Department thinks there's some real-life GTA characters. They've been acting like fools for the last 10, 15 years. And it's pretty apparent that if the village would have disciplined their police force over the years and not just keep letting all this insanity happen, maybe things like Alexis Wilson wouldn't have happened because these officers would have calmed down. But that's what happens when you let your officers run around all unruly and don't discipline them at all. So rest in peace, Alexis Wilson and all the other victims of the Dalton GTA police force, and condolences to all the families.
Rest in
now,
love,
it's also my understanding that the village had years to settle out of court within the range of their insurance limits. It sounds like the attorneys were originally willing to settle for under $10.5 million. But now that this verdict has been handed out, it's all or nothing. So a rough estimate on the current debt would be about $27 million. Once you add in that settlement that's on appeal, it's over $60 million. That's an awful lot of debt for such a...
Thank you. These are actual numbers. Now, I said 6 million from what I see. Whatever I see, I can give you. But when I listen to his synopsis, this dude is on task. You have to consider all of the numerous lawsuits as well. That one lawsuit was $33.5 million. Not $3 million. $33.5 million. Let's finish listening to. And his name is the individual investor. I do apologize. There is someone called the independent investor. I was on the wrong page. But this is his information. He still has a series of videos up about Dolton. There's just selected videos that they made him take down. And I got them. Let's play. Let's finish listening. And you got to ask yourself, why? But we're not here to spread up that dirt right now.
Small town. And just keep in mind, I'm going off estimates. That $7 million that Tiffany racked up can actually turn out to be a lot higher. We don't know. And this also doesn't include any current or future legal fees or future settlements that may happen. So realistically, this number can potentially get exponentially higher within the next couple of years, reaching over $100 million. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So what are the chances of a government bailout? Well, in the near term, I think it's highly unlikely, but I do think ultimately it's most likely going to have to happen. And the reason I say it's highly unlikely in the near term, well, remember when Tiffany was bragging about all that money she was going to get from the state? $9 million for Thornton Township and $6.8 million for Dalton? What she didn't tell people was majority of that $6.8 million that was going to go to Dalton was a government bailout.
Now, I don't know if it was a government bailout. What I've seen was grants. And I don't know if he's trying to consider that the government bailout, but we did show you some grants, and we're going to go into detail. We showed you the grants that came in Thornton Township in both accounts, and I saw the grants that's coming in Dolton. Some of them, they were outstanding monies, like monies that wasn't received because they ain't no damn fool. But Tiffany looked like she spent it.
We know they haven't received that money yet, and I believe there's a very good reason for it. The largest is a $5.125 million appropriation from the Build Illinois Bond Fund through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity to pay for infrastructure improvements, including all prior incurred costs. So you know how we've been hearing about bills not being paid for like street lights, stop signs and stuff like that? That all falls under infrastructure. So something tells me a lot of these vendors that haven't been paid yet all kind of fall under infrastructure, and they were going to get paid once Dalton received that bailout. That's just my opinion, at least. And I believe the village never got that money because of statements like this right here. We've been building that ice rink for several months, Tenured said December 5th. You knew we were bringing that to the community with grant money. I don't use taxpayers' dollars. I don't use property taxes. I don't use water bill money, grant money. So that means free money. So not only is it crazy that she expects the Illinois taxpayers to pick up the tabs for things like her ice rink, so I believe the state's currently looking into if she's misappropriated or wrongly spent any grant money before she gets this money. For example, let's say the village gets $1 million for water infrastructure or something, and $100,000 of that went towards the ice rink. Well, that's not what the grant money was for. You weren't supposed to spend the grant money for that.
Thank you.
And if she's misappropriating funds, the state has no business bailing her out for misappropriating those funds.
See, that's why I like listening to everybody. His concepts is so well-rounded, especially when it comes to, I never thought about that, why the state will not bail them out. Because every opportunity for you to use state funds, you misappropriated it, allegedly. They had to get her ass out first before the state ever decided to do anything for Dalton and Thornton, I would assume.
So that's just my opinion on what potentially may have happened. And just to show you how bad the debt situation truly is, I want to show you this article from March 4th of this year. WGN Investigates has learned that Dalton owes more than $427,000 to a company that paved village streets in 2002. That firm is not alone. After our report, the village has sent a check. Just wow, absolutely amazing.
And I will say this, I gotta add this, and I'm gonna put this video is still available, but this what was happening. He was making videos and changes was being made, and someone in Dolton did not like it, and they went after him. I got the juice. I know what happened. So when he was doing these type of things, things were being addressed. The little dog sometimes has a stronger foot than you know. This is why they went after him.
Company got their ass handed to them just based on the time value of money. That same job today would cost over $740,000. You might be wondering, why didn't they get paid sooner? Why didn't they file a lawsuit? Well, contractors only have 60 days to file a lien. After that, you waive all your rights, and you're essentially depending on getting paid based on good faith.
Whatever.
I
That's
wanted
not
to bring this up
that's not
because
totally
money.
the truth. That's not totally the truth. I know contractors who put frivolous liens on a lot of people. So maybe they're very strict in the state of Illinois, but on the UCC, you don't have a 30-day time frame. You can put your contract between the debtor and the seller on there if they have outstanding balance with you at the time of filing. Please look into the UCC. I know they have other public records that hold debt to creditors' information, but the UCC ain't got no 30 days. And once somebody file a lien on you through the UCC, it takes a little while to get that off of you because it's discoverable in all of the courts in the United States. Does that make sense?
From years ago are starting to come to light, and I highly doubt something like this was ever factored into Tiffany's $7 million deficit. Things like this potentially suggest that the debt is a little bit higher than most people probably think it is. And when you owe money from all sorts of years ago, it's hard to figure out what the actual number of debt is. They've done numerous audits and stuff over the years, so they should have caught stuff like this and made sure those vendors got paid. But for some reason, they didn't. And since WGN suggests there's more people in the same boat from years ago, we have no idea how much more debt they may potentially have that's just been forgotten or ignored over the years. And I bring this up because in order for Dalton to turn things around, one of the things they need to do is start getting all these debts paid. And if debt keeps popping up from decades ago or years ago, the debt just keeps adding and adding up, making it harder to pay off. Then when looking at the debt, we also need to understand that the village's fiscal year ends April 30th, and then they go into a new budget. So that means there's almost one more full year of Tiffany racking up a completely new deficit.
Yep.
How high it goes, nobody knows.
Blessing status quo. And yes, this was a while ago, and now we have an update at least till March 2024 that has been updated from our amazing clerk Key. Okay, and we're going to be going over that on Thursday in deep detail. So let's finish play this. This was a great segue for that next live.
And the last thing we need to look at when considering the debt are all the current lawsuits the village currently has. Right now, there's 16 active lawsuits against the village, and I do believe a few of these are going to have significant payouts potentially.
Way more than that now.
The Andrew Holmes one, they appear to have videotape. If that's true, I don't see how the village beats this. And then you have the Alexis Wilson case. Now, I know that video footage is dark and kind of hard to, so it's my guess this building's going to end up getting taken over too. And next door to the lodge, you have Rucker Cigar. And this was a business that was set up by Kiana Belcher's boss. And I believe it never opened up because they had another location in Indiana. And when his girlfriend was leaving the place, she actually committed a hit and run and killed someone in a Rucker company vehicle. A business vehicle for another business here.
Okay. My thing fast forwarded. It jumped from the Alexis thing. This is one of the things that got him in trouble. He named some shit in this video, and I'm just going to have to let it rock out. Let's play this again. This is hard for people to swallow, but this is some of the debts that's connected to Dolton.
To me, it's pretty clear this settlement was, do you think they will get once Tiffany does leave office? It's going to be for something like infrastructure. It's not going to cover things like loss. Well, they only have one option, and that's to generate more revenue. And I don't mean more red light tickets, toll fees, fines, and so forth. They need to, really increase revenue. And stuff like that would just never cut it. Even if they got a government bailout, which I do think they will get once Tiffany does leave office, it's going to be for something like infrastructure. It's not going to cover things like lawsuits, water debt, and so forth. Now, I want to show you something, because I do think in the next year or so, the village is going to be in an excellent position to actually reverse course if they play their cards right. While this isn't an immediate solution, this can definitely help them generate a lot more revenue. So I just got this video off YouTube. It's someone cruising down downtown Dalton. And as we can see, Downtown looks extremely empty.
Yep.
You see a lot of boarded up buildings, there doesn't seem to be a lot of economic activity going on.
Exactly what I
There is
said.
something very interesting going on in this 2-block stretch, and I now have a much better understanding of why there's so much controversy around Dr. Scott's building. I
Yep.
think the easiest way to explain it is she's essentially holding the golden key. I've said before, if this property was in a nicer area, it would be prime real estate. I've changed my mind. This is prime real estate.
It is.
This plot of
For this
land is
area.
extremely important. So let's start with this empty lot right here. It used to be a bar called Mr. Ricky's. It appears it's been closed for well over 10 years. I'm not too sure when the building got knocked down. After they closed, it appears a business called Chef Giosol was there for a little bit. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're behind on their taxes for the last 3 years, and the taxes started being sold. Next, we're going to look at the building that's directly across the street.
And let me clarify, the taxes are not being sold. They're called tax liens. And that's what I teach. I teach people how to invest in tax liens and tax deeds. And I think that's one of the reasons why they want to shut Grace Levi up. Because I can teach you guys how to get your property back. Because this is how they're selling Dalton out. But I'm going to shut up. Because we have a lot of real estate gurus out there that's selling Dalton out. Let's move forward.
It used to be a club called Club One. Not only was there a shooting here, but the manager was a registered sex offender, so he shouldn't have even been allowed to work here. Anyways, you see the same exact thing happening here. Delinquent taxes have been sold, and they're way behind on property taxes. Eventually, the owner's going to lose this building. Now, directly across the street from the 2 locations where there are shootings at that used to be bars, you have Village Hall and the building the Tiffany Cares Foundation is registered to. Next to where the Cares Foundation is located, you have Dalton Food and Liquors. And once again, we have the same exact thing happening right here. Next, we're going to go next door to the blue building. That's the Spence Cook Grand Lodge.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure why this place got closed down. They actually seem like they were doing some pretty good things there. They used to do turkey giveaways, hand out Christmas toys to the community and stuff like that. Anyways, they haven't had their property taxes sold yet, but they are 2 years behind. And next year, they are going to have their delinquent taxes sold.
Somebody's going to buy it.
It's my guess this building's going to end up getting taken over too.
Exactly. Someone's going to buy it off of the tax roll. How are all these beautiful buildings shut down? I rode past all of this when we were down there. All of this.
And next door to the lodge, you have Rucker Cigar. And this was a business that was set up by Kiana Belcher's
And I think this is what got him in trouble.
boss. And I believe it never opened up because they had another location in Indiana. And when his girlfriend was leaving the place, she actually committed a hit and run and killed someone in a Rucker company vehicle, a business vehicle from another business he owned. Once again, taxes have been sold, and they're most likely going to end up losing the building within the next year or two.
Okay, good. Wait.
Then next door to the...
Okay, he stopped. I got the other video where he went into Rucker's holding. And that is a reason why I didn't read that case. I'm still telling, it's a reason why I didn't read that case. And it's a reason why they asses was on him. And it has something to do with that smoke bar and everybody affiliated with it. That's why we should know everything about everybody. Even if they want to repent, you have to be truthful to the people. Because there's people who know what happened. And because you hide it doesn't mean that it's going to go away. You can't shut the people down who knows. Because those are the people that may not vote for you. And they may vote for somebody else. So you want to be transparent. If this is something that you feel that the people that are voting have in the back of their mind. That's just a message. Hint, hint. When you know too much and you can't say it.
cigar shop, we got this place called Royals. According to property records, it's like a little strip mall. It's these 3 units right here, and that takes you to the corner of the block. And once again, taxes have been sold, and they're gonna probably end up losing
Look
the
at
building.
that. Look at that. Damn it.
Next, we go across
Hold on.
the street.
Let me show y'all this real quick. Because I'm into tax liens. Look at this. Check this out. Y'all need to see this.
Lounge called the 4136. According to property records,
Look at this.
It's like a little strip mall. It's the
This is how they gentrify the area without paying full market price. Well, I'm going to show you how much a tax lien is worth in your investment if you're not going to an auction and you're buying them over the counter.
3 units right here.
Check this
and
out.
that takes you to the corner of the block. And one
The original tax bill right now, it says $4,015.95. What is currently due with the interest and the taxes, the interest was only $789. That particular building that you just saw can be bought for the back taxes of the 2 years for $8,424 only. You wait till the redemption time, and whatever the law is in Illinois for you to redeem your property, that could be doing a title search. That can be doing a short non-judicial action. And this property will be yours under $10,000. This is how investors come into your community and buy your property. And guess who know how to do that? Grace Levi. This is what I do. This is why they want to shut me up. Because there you have a lot of real estate gurus in Dalton and Thornton that wants the property. They don't go and get conventional mortgages. They go and get the property through tax sales at low prices like this and then resell them for market value, or sometimes use it as an asset to go get a line of credit to reinvest or to just spend it and splurge on it. This is what's happening in the background. And this is why I do believe and know that a lot of the elected officials in position in Illinois, Cook County, Thornton County are playing Russian roulette with your property. They price you out through taxes. Get it to an amount that you can't afford. You may people like $4,000 is nothing. $4,000 is something tacked on to your conventional mortgage and you're on a fixed income. 1 or 2 payments behind, you're done. Let's hurry up and wrap this up real quick.
again, taxes have been sold, and they're going to probably end up losing the building. Next, we go across the street, and we're right next door to Village Hall now. You have this lounge called the 4136 Lounge. And believe it or not, they're fully up to date on their property taxes. They owe absolutely nothing. They're good. Then next to the 4136 Lounge, you have an empty lot. And behind that empty lot, you have 3 more empty lots.
They want that.
So here's what used to be here. Now these taxes haven't been bought yet, but they are 3 years behind. So they're most likely going to end up losing this property as well. And when you go to the lot behind it, you get the same exact thing. And the lot.
Now you see that? Even if this look expensive for somebody for taxes, imagine the fair market value of the property. You're going to get double and triple that money back. That's why I tell black people, or people, I say my black people first, because you know I'm black, but people who are in the middle class that we're losing our grip on real estate, this is the best way to get in. They are tripling and doubling their profits. You got to get together, put your money together and go get you some tax liens and deeds.
Behind that one, you get the same exact thing.
Man, that's crazy.
And then the empty lot behind that is owned by a company out of Pennsylvania called Media One, and they're fully up to date.
They bought
taxes paid in full, 0 issues.
They bought it.
Then across 142nd Street from those empty lots, we have Dr. Scott's building. I'm going to do this one last, so we're going to come back to it. Let's go back on King Drive and see how Dr. Scott's block is looking. First up, you got the Village Cafe, and they're 100% up to date on their taxes, 0 issues here. Next door to the cafe, you got this barbershop. It's a part of the cafe property. And next to that, you got this tax place. And once again, they're 100% up to date, 0 issues. Next to the tax place, you have these 3 units right here. And according to property records, it's all one property. And it appears whoever owned this may have lost the property we can see the taxes have been sold for 2020 and still owed.
Who own it
But when you
now? A
collapse the payment
business.
details, it says tax buyer, subsequent payment. So I'm assuming whoever bought the taxes ended up buying all the taxes. Next, we have this empty lot right here. And so far, 2 years of taxes have been sold, and they're currently delinquent on 2023 and 24. They're most likely going to end up losing this property. Next, you have Angels and Woods Kitchen. And they're pretty much up to date on taxes. They're behind on 2024, but that's no big deal.
Because there's 2
Next
years.
to Woods Kitchen, you have these 2 empty units right here, and they're just one property.
Wait.
And once again, taxes have been forfeited, and they're probably going to lose this building.
That's Woods Kitchen.
Right
Hold on. That's Wood Barbecue Kitchen that we read about. The one who Tiffany was going after. One of them. And that property is closed. Remember I was telling you these properties. He said they have a double lot. I said they want that land. They want that land. Now, let me tell you this, guys. I'm just going to give y'all a little, because I'm going to give y'all some hints and tips like we on Primetime Home Buyers, because this is what I do. I'm a legal real estate consultant on top of doing my nursing thing. So I understand what you're saying. What you're trying to say is done on properties, taxes so much you can't even afford to live anymore. Yes, but this is what I want to do. I want to give y'all a hint of how to do shit. And this is what DeMarcus and them are doing. Okay? They figure out who properties are on the tax roll and who are going to be coming up for sale in this year. They talk to their homeboys, they talk to their friends and say, hey, do y'all want to get in on this? Go to the tax sale, buy this property, and then you'll be able to flip it, this, that, and the third. Now, you as a homeowner, you can't reinvest in your taxes, meaning if you owe back taxes, somebody else like your daughter, if they pay for the back taxes, if they pay for that back taxes as an investor, they can't. The first kin in most states, they don't allow. Like if I'm back tax, my son can't go in the tax auction and pay for it. That's not, they won't let it unless they don't know. So it usually has to be someone who's not connected to you. So, but if you have a neighborhood, and I'm just throwing that out there, some type of neighborhood trust where y'all help each other as residents make sure that all y'all taxes are paid so y'all don't lose y'all stuff, but y'all all have vested interest in it, and that's the way you can do that. I know how to do trust as well. It's neighborhood trust, or you can call it whatever you want to, a community trust. But the stipulations to that trust is that the monies will be spent for back taxes for people who are involved in the trust, the people who put money into the trust, and also you will have to be obligated to pay a certain amount, at least the minimum amount of your taxes over a certain amount of time, but it'll be a different payment schedule for you guys. Does that make sense? I'm basically teaching you how to keep your property before you lose it, because if you got $15,000 in taxes tacked on and you can't afford it, if y'all had a community trust, I mean, like y'all got together and got a bank to put together a community trust of 500 people, 200 people, 100 people, and they set this trust up in a way that each person will be able to pay their bill because y'all all allocate money to this trust each month, and y'all all obligated to allocate just as much as your taxes due over a certain amount of time. It will help you guys in the community save your property. I know that was a little technical, but it can work. This is what I know. It's the same thing like setting up a kitty when you're in the islands. We know how to cohabitate our money, be fair, and give it to each person who need it so they can survive in the totalitarian system that we're in. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is stop right here, because when I do my part, what we're going to do, we're doing a deep dive into Thornton finances now that we have information up to March 2024. We'll probably have more by the time that day. We're going to look at a few of the independent, I'm sorry, just make sure I got him, the individual investors videos. He has some online, but I'm going to show the ones that he don't have online that I have. Most likely, I'm going to try not to hit no more controversial parts like you just heard. Y'all ain't hear it all that. Like, what? I was throwing some stuff in there because I got a lot of information to fill in the holes. But it's just because I'm not a liar. I'm not a half story teller. So if I have to tell you a half story, I'm not going to tell you. So that's why I have chose not to talk about certain things, because I'm not going to lie, kiss anybody butt, especially for people who don't give a damn about me and want to kick my back in. I would rather not talk about you guys. But we're getting to the end of this road. And everybody, my main goal is to make sure that the residents know how to survive and know how to play this game of chess. I appreciate the elected officials doing what you're supposed to do, especially when you're being honorable. But my goal is to empower the residents. So my next live will not only break down some of the finances, some of the ideas of gentrification that's going on through these tax sales and real estate sales. We're going to highlight a lot of things that you residents has been highlighting about DeMarcus, about other individuals who are real estate gurus out there. Oh yeah, Grace Levi is paying attention. And then I'm going to comprehensively break it down from my understanding. If there's any aspects that I can educate you on to give you liberty, that's what I'm going to do. So I want you to check this commercial out from my sponsors so you can understand what I do and how I teach about this tax lien thing. Don't let them steal your property, guys. It's called gentrification, and I ain't letting it happen. Hit the like button. I will see you guys on Thursday.
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Dolton Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Terms 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Why are you detaining me? You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose